Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. I watched a special on Jesus, and it was very interesting for a whole lot of reasons. What I came away with, other than the obvious, is that nothing's changed. Virtually nothing's changed. It talked about the high priests, and it talked about their lifestyle. It talked about the people's lifestyle in that part of the world, in the Middle East. And what was interesting is that the high priests lived like kings. They're no different than our members of Congress. They also live like kings and queens. Yeah, it showed you how the people would have to pay taxes. And if they didn't pay their taxes, a number of them would be beaten by the high priests if they didn't provide what they were expected to provide. And again, these high priests, they didn't work. All they did was preach. And they would have sacrifices. And the sacrifices amounted to a barbecue because the people themselves back then had very little meat to eat. They subsisted on grains, fresh fruit, vegetables, dried figs. That was their main source of nourishment. But the high priests lived a different lifestyle. Something like Mary Landrieu, you know what I mean? Before she became a senator. Take a look at her now. She could have made a wonderful high priestess. So could a whole lot of other members of Congress. And what was really interesting is fishermen. I didn't know this. You had to pay a tax to go out and fish in your own boat. And then when you caught fish, if you caught fish, you would be taxed again based on the quantity of fish that you caught. So the archaeologists unearthed homes of the tax collectors and of the high priests. And it was amazing to see how they lived back then. The artwork, the inlaid slabs on their floors, the frescoes, the stucco, the pottery that they had. And then you looked at how the people themselves lived. Many in dwellings that were carved into the side of the mountains, caves. Not a whole lot different than, again, Mary Landrieu, who lives in a mansion in D.C. Yet she also has a residence, so she could say that she represents the folks from New Orleans, Louisiana. She lives in her mother's basement. Yeah, but anyway, she's history. But again, it's really fascinating to see how nothing's changed. The average person back then paid about a 30% tax. Pretty much in line with what's going on now. Unless you're a business, then you're a little bit higher. But you see, again, nothing's changed. The masses support the elitists. Who are elitists? Well, many of them are members of Congress and friends of members of Congress that get special consideration, like for contracts, like with, what's his name, Immel from General Electric, who paid 0 in taxes. General Electric paid 0 in taxes on billions of dollars of revenue. Is it any wonder that Immel's a close friend of the chosen one? Nothing's changed, folks. The masses support the elitists. They did back before Jesus Christ, and they do at the present time. And they have throughout all that time in between. Pretty depressing when you stop to think about it, isn't it? But hey, it is what it is.